Hello, I'm Sam Vandersloos, and I am the music composer for the game The Regreening by Positive Impact Games. In this video, I will showcase the main gameplay loop for one of the biomes called the Eurasian Steppe. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the game. You play as the character Viri, a descendant of earthbound humans who refused to abandon their home and was destined to restore the planet. The game starts out in a desolate, barren earth, and it's your job to essentially regreen earth by planting trees and supporting the environment for various animal habitats. This story really resonates with me as I consider nature the most important aspect of our lives, and I deeply respect it. But now, onto the music. The gameplay loop is divided into 3 different loops, each with its own conditions. There's loop A, B, and C. I scored loop A first as this is the most dense loop. The musical direction I received from the team was to focus on a layered composition where the loop evolves dynamically as the player restores an animal biome. So as you go about regreening a biome, the music will change accordingly to the conditions of whether or not there are animals present. Let's listen to loop A now. We just listened to loop A's base layer along with 2 other layers I call the woodwind layer, which features a set of recorders, and a biome layer, in this case a Eurasian inspired layer which features instruments from Slavic origin. The game is greatly inspired by Slavic culture. However, it's important to note that we are not aiming for authenticity as the game takes place in a fictitious world. You may have also noticed another layer here, which I've named the rabbit layer, but more on that later. Let's listen to loop B. In comparison to A, loop B is much more sparse. I've essentially subtracted stems from A to produce loop B. I've reorchestrated a few of the melodic lines to be played by an oboe and a cello as well. Loop C is similar, so let's listen to how C sounds. The reason why loops B and C are more sparse in nature is not to overwhelm the player. Loop A is at times quite bold and magnificent, and a bit too much for the simple tasks your player may be doing on screen, such as watering flowers and planting seeds. Let's hop into the FMOD session now, and I can show you how I've implemented this in the game. There are 3 loops here, C, B, A, which, yes, are backwards, but done so intentionally. Every time the player opens up the game, they will hear C initially, as it's more of a gentle way to introduce the game, whether you're starting fresh or loading a save file. As loop C approaches the end of the loop, FMOD will pick either A or B to transition to next. The probability is higher on B, as I want A to be heard more rarely. I allow the natural coincidence of rolling the dice, so to speak, to allow when the music should let A be heard. The intention was that when A does play, the player may be a little further along in their game, and the music should complement this with a denser, more flourishing track. I also have a couple of parameters set. One is the animal parameter, and the other is the day-night cycle. These are both continuous so that I can control the fade in and out of when these get activated. I've set a seek speed on both so that the change isn't immediate but brought about gently. When the animal parameter is set to 1, that's when this additional rabbit layer will play. The rabbit layer occurs when you've unlocked the biome's animal and rabbits appear in their habitat. The rabbit layer is very subtle, just like a rabbit I suppose, and mostly consists of high-frequency synth patches and bells. The day-night cycle is self-explanatory. The parameter is set so that 0 equals daytime and 1 equals nighttime. Nighttime arrives gently with the sunset, so the seek speed is even slower here, allowing for a slow transition between the day and night loops. The difference between the 2 loops is that the night versions are just transposed to a lower key. With Loop A, there is a little bit more going on. There is the added woodwind layer, which is 3 recorders playing various phrases. I've randomized them so that the game could play just recorder 1 and recorder 3 at the same time while recorder 2 is silent, or recorder 2 and 3 plays while 1 is silent, or even all of them silent, and so on and so forth. I've used a multi-instrument that randomizes between the recorder layer or an empty layer, aka silence. I compose it so that all 3 sound good when playing together, and if you subtract any of them, it still sounds like a natural phrase. So that covers the overall gameplay loop for this biome. Please also note that all of the gameplay footage is still early, and some of the art and game design are subject to change as we are still in development. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was insightful for you. Take it easy. Until next time.